Simply Red, Money's Too Tight to Mention on Wave 105. It's Sunday night and you'll hear tunes from The Weeknd and Joe Jackson in the next 10 minutes. Now it's time for 5 things you need to know about next week with columnist and blogger Vicki Charles. Hello.
Hello.
What's the first thing we need to know about next week?
As if you didn't already, it's St Patrick's Day on Tuesday.
I genuinely didn't.
You didn't? You're not Irish somewhere far back on your mother's side?
Do you know what?
Is.
There is no remote connection between me and Ireland whatsoever.
You're the only person I've ever met
who has no Irish connection.
Yes.
OK, so what's going on?
Just the usual, get drunk, drink lots of Guinness, remember your Irish ancestry.
However remote it may be.
Yeah, St Patrick famously drove all the snakes out of Ireland, apparently. The reason, I found this interesting, the reason that it has this reputation for being this big drunken thing is because it always falls within Lent, and it's a religious holiday, and the Lenten restrictions on eating and drinking alcohol are relaxed. So everyone's, like, all the religious people have gone all the way through Lent without drinking, and then suddenly,
So if you've given up wine or chocolate for Lent, go and celebrate your Irish ancestry for that one day. You can get away with it.
Absolutely.
So that's the first thing we need to know about next week. What's the second?
Neighbours.
That wonderful soap that everybody watched in the 80s.
Yes, although, no, well, it's on Channel 5 now. A lot of people do still watch it. I was absolutely captivated by the late 80s, early 90s. It was 5:30, Neighbours, sit down, nothing happened. We all watched Neighbours.
So what are Channel 5 doing to mark the occasion?
They've got a whole day of special programmes, including they're re-showing the Scott and Charlene wedding.
The zenith of Neighbours.
Yes, absolutely. With that, who can forget that Angry Anderson song? And they she walks up the aisle
with
and
the butterflies.
Scott turns around and like, oh yeah.
And surely they're showing the first episode as well.
Yes, they are. That's on quite late in the evening, but it is on that day.
In honour of them showing Scott and Charlene's wedding on the Wednesday, we'll play Angry Anderson later on Pop Goes the 80s.
Yes!
So what's the third thing we need to know about next week?
International Day of Happiness on Friday. Really excited about this one. I love days like this. And Friday's the perfect day because actually research shows we all enjoy a Friday and the anticipation of the weekend more than we actually enjoy the weekend.
Isn't that true with many things, though?
Probably.
It's the sizzle, not the sausage.
Yeah, I think so. This day is actually, it's not about kind of, I'm going to be happy. It's about connecting with the people around you because loneliness is probably as big a killer as, smoking and things like that in terms of what it does to your lifestyle if you don't interact with people. We're surrounded by people. You can stand on a train platform and everybody resolutely stares down at their phone or at their shoes. We don't speak to each other. We don't say, hi, how are you? So it's about doing that.
That's interesting. A very serious side to it.
Yes, but also, in the name of being happy, I have been researching this and I have found that if you put a pen in your mouth, like so, I am holding it horizontally, so that it forces your mouth into a smiling position, it does improve your mood.
Really?
Yes, really, try it. I dare you. Do the rest of the show like it.
It's not going to work. What's the fourth thing we need to know about next week?
Jimmy Carr is at the Bic on Saturday.
Now, there's a man who sometimes is happy, but you'd never know from his face.
He's always got that face. He's a look like a Sesame Street puppet, isn't it, his face?
Yep, that's a great analogy.
It's a 2-hour show as well, which I think, it seems like a lot of value for money, 2 hours, with it's a 20-minute interval in between. But I've seen him live a couple of times and he is roaringly funny. And he interacts with the audience usually as well, so he doesn't mind a heckler or two, a bit of friendly banter. So it's a nice atmosphere, people shouting out from the audience a little bit and bits like that.
And what's the fifth and final thing we need to know about next week?
The fifth and final thing, if you're feeling sporty, B&Q Eastley 10K.
Oh, wow, is it that time already?
On Sunday morning. Apparently they get a lot of PBs on this one because it's a very flat course, which for runners do love a flat course.
And it's an event that the whole family can be involved in because they have a fun run for the kids as well.
Yes, brilliant.
The kids get medals at the end.
I think there are still a few places open. They had over 2,500 last year. It's supporting 3 charities, of which Wave 105 Cash for Kids is one.
Yeah, and if you fancy a late entry, I'm sure you can still do it for our charity. All the details will be on our website. If people want to find out more on any of the things we've discussed tonight, where do they need to go?
SingleMotherAhoy.com.
Which is Vicky's blog, and we'll talk again next Sunday.
Yes, see you then.
This is The Weeknd and Earned It on Wave 105.
You make it.